When I was 3, home looked like a 2-bedroom apartment. It was here where I learned to trust myself in a space where I was encouraged to explore. When I was 8, it looked like being surrounded by family on holidays. It felt like that was going to last forever. At 16, I moved to Florida and I left everything I knew about home behind. It now looked like decorated palm trees on Christmas and maybe going back to see family if I had the money. Mostly didn't. At 22, home looked like responsibility. Lived with my grandparents and had a small taste of what it was like having home at 8 again. Took them to all their doctor's appointments, on trips to Disney, and got to know them more as I watched them grow older. It was here where I learned what love and loss was. This is where I was first introduced to grief, who would appear in different faces as I continued to get older. One face is pain, one is acceptance, and the last is understanding that grief was always there as a friend. When I was 23, home stood at about 5'3". It felt safe, felt calm, but wasn't sustainable. At 24, I found home in another. It was familiarity, but in the ways that I didn't realize I'd already grown out of. The spontaneous day trips and novelty adventures. It was quality time and noticing the small details. Until I stopped feeling safe and noticing small details turned into criticism, and criticism turned into a lack of trust, and a lack of trust caused it to implode. At 25, the idea of home became hyper-independence. I learned to finally set boundaries and speak up for myself when things didn't feel good. Part of me almost drowned when I was 24, and I had to learn how to swim back to the shore. I was at sea for so long, I learned to adapt to the waves, always monitoring what it would throw at me next so I could survive. So when I got back to land, I forgot what it felt like to stand. I forgot what it felt like to sit under the stillness of the trees or to hear the wind whisper through the leaves above me. I found contentment at the pond, where I'd sit day in and day out, and it was here where I learned to breathe again, just like the trees taught me to. It was a necessary chapter in my life until, once again, I outgrew it and had to move on. For the pond is not a river. Water does not share the same passion in hopes of finding a destination. It does not have a goal other than to exist in the same spot forever. And here I am, almost 30. And I lived in so many homes, I found myself homesick for a place that I don't even know if it exists. For everyone else, a home is a place to decorate and come back to, but my home's changed faces so many times throughout my life. For home is still a home with no walls. The only place I've had a chance to go back to is myself. And throughout time, I found myself changing. Maybe this is the way of the world. And maybe a home is meant to be experienced in just a season.